Heidi Harris, a friend with benefits. Now on KXNT.
I'm Heidi Harris. Happy Monday to you. All right, Michael Roberson, as you know, would like to be your next congressman. But he's a liar, and he's a weasel, and he's spineless, and he screwed us for over $1 billion. He helped get that done up there in Carson City. Danny Tarkanian, among others, is calling him on his BS because Michael Roberson is claiming to be pro-life and all about parental notification, when, in fact, when he had the chance to get that passed, he didn't do it. Danny Tarkanian joins us on the Bishop Air Service Live line. Hey, Danny, how are you?
Good morning, Heidi.
Hey, good morning. So you've been calling him on this, and good for you because he's a liar. You know, it's one thing to not have a strong opinion, but he's flat out lying and saying he's Mr. Pro-Life, and he's proven otherwise.
Yeah, well, you had a caller that explained that real well just previously, but it's just one of a number of things that he's done. He's lied so badly. The most obvious one is when he promised not to raise everybody's taxes, and then he went to Carson City and he voted for the largest tax increase in state's history. And then when he was running for Congress now, he's been telling people that he actually cut taxes for 95% of the people. And PolitiFact called him out and said that he lied about that. He sent out a mail piece that said he stopped tax increases. That was his mail piece he sent out Friday. Everybody knows that he raised the taxes.
It's amazing.
He sent out a mail piece and said he was against amnesty, but he voted twice and co-sponsored a bill encouraging Congress to give amnesty. But, you know, Heidi, that's what establishment candidates do. They run for office and they tell the public what they want to hear. Then when they get back to public office, they listen to the lobbyists and the other special interest groups that are feeding their pockets with all the money, and they vote that way. And when they run for re-election, they get all that money and they try to lie about their record and hope the public doesn't know the truth. So I think it's really important what you're doing on your station today.
Well, people need to know about it. We're speaking with Danny Tarkanian. He, of course, running for Congress for CD3, and Michael Roberson is too. You know, the thing about Roberson is the guy just delusional, or does he think we're all stupid? Which one is it that he thinks he can claim this and nobody's going to call him on it?
You know, I think most of the time it doesn't happen. He ran for re-election, and he ran again as an anti-tax person, and the guy who ran against him, Carl Bunce, called him out on it, but he didn't have the money, and there wasn't enough interest in the race, so nobody brought it to the public's attention. I think he thought it could happen this election. And, you know, Heidi, there's a lot of people that are involved, want to understand the politics better, and they listen to your show and Alan Stock's show and others. But there's so many others that don't vote, and all they do is read those mail pieces or listen to what they see on TV, and they believe the lies by people like Roberson.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. It really is, because people need to call these folks to account, and they don't. And obviously, we'd like him out of the legislature, but I wouldn't want him in Congress. That's for sure. It's amazing. But to your point, I want to go back to your point, Danny, that you made about money. We're speaking with Danny Tarkanian, Congressional District 3 candidate. Here's the thing, Danny. People love to say, oh, we want to get the money out of politics. You can't get money out of politics, because if you have a good point of view, you can't get your message out unless you have money. To your point about the person who ran against him, Carl Bunce, he didn't have the money. If you don't have the money, you don't get it out. And Roberson's going to have all kinds of big people behind it because he did the bidding of the GOP establishment in Carson City. That's a problem.
Sure. And, you know, Melissa made a great comment. For the first time in 89 years, Republicans controlled the Assembly, Senate, and governor's office. And the Republicans were expecting big changes, but instead they listened to their special interest groups and the lobbyists that were feeding their pockets with all the money, and they passed bills that were important to them and ignored the Republican Party, their constituents. And it's hard then to go out and raise any money and expose that record. You know, fortunately, and a lot of it is because of the relationship my family's had with some people here in town, and then there's others from people that just were so upset at Roberson. We raised enough money that we're going to have a message out to explain to the public what Roberson's voting record is. We call him the Pinocchio politics because he lies about virtually everything that's important to the Republican Party. We're going to get that message out to the voters in CD3, and hopefully they'll pay attention and won't vote for him.
Yeah, I hope they do. Give me your website real quick, Danny.
It's tarkforcongress.com, TARKFOR, Congress.com.
All right, we'll talk as the campaign progresses. Thanks, Danny, for holding to the fire because Roberson's a piece of crap. You don't have to say that, but I will.
All right, thanks, Heidi. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, good to talk to you. You know, this is the thing. I hope people are paying attention. Now, obviously, the folks who listen to talk radio are very engaged in this, and they should be. And if you don't live in CD3, you might go, you know, what do I care? Well, you should care, because the people who screw us over in the legislative body should be held accountable. Anybody who does what they, and listen, okay, let me back up. I'm going to get all wired on this. Let me back up. I'm not a person who puts my trust in politicians. You all know that, right? I don't expect politicians to be perfect because they're human beings. I would like it if they would do what they'd say. But no, most of the time they don't. They get up there and they totally change. Because they get up there and Slugworth starts whispering in their ear and they go, oh, this is how it is? Oh, okay, got it. What do I have to do? Whose ring or butt do I have to kiss to stay here? Okay. Remember, that's how politicians are. Once they get the job, their only objective is to stay there. And they'll do whatever they have to do that. That's how 99% of the politicians are. And if you're somebody who wants to swim against the stream, and you want to swim upstream, as it were, swim against the tide, so to speak, and you want to stand up for what's right, you'll probably be drummed out of there. But at the very least, you can stand on your convictions. Now, I know it's tough to get through to politicians, because I've known a lot of them in this town who absolutely have had no spine whatsoever. And when the pressure's on, they care more about power than they care about anything else, and it's disgusting. It really is. You have to stand up for what's right, regardless of the consequences. And you have to let God have it. I mean, I've certainly done that in my situation, my life, my career, where I've stood up for what was right. And no one ever punished you. You can't be punished for that. You can't be punished. God will take